Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something that seems simple, but it's just so fundamental.
Yeah, how we actually talk about the people in our lives, family, friends.
Exactly. And we're doing a deep dive into how a specific beginner's English resource teaches this.
Right. We've got excerpts from an audio guide for learners just starting out.
Our mission is really to pull apart how this guide does it. How does it break down talking about relationships for someone new to English?
We want to grab those core bits, the words, the phrases, and see why these were chosen. It's kind of a shortcut to understanding the basics of connecting with people.
It's not just about memorizing words, is it? It's about opening up conversations.
Definitely. Even basic language lets you connect, lets you understand a bit about someone else's life. This source gives a clear path for that.
Okay, so let's look at the structure. It kicks off, logically enough, with essential family words.
The absolute basics for your immediate circle.
It lists things like father and dad,
Right.
mother and mom.
Which is smart, right? Giving both the formal and the more common informal words straight away.
Then you get brother, sister, son, daughter, the core unit.
And it adds grandfather, grandmother, too. So stretching just a little bit to those, key older relatives.
And crucially, it doesn't just give you a list. It shows you how to use them.
Right, with really simple example sentences.
Like, my mother is a teacher, or I have 2 brothers.
And her grandfather lives in the countryside.
So you immediately see them in action.
Exactly. It uses the basic be verb, my mother is, for descriptions, and have, I have, for relationships.
So it moves you from just knowing the word to actually, using it in a real sentence about yourself.
Yeah, that's a key teaching step, I think. Very practical.
Okay, so once you've got the core family down, the guide then sort of expands outwards, right?
Yeah, the next step is people outside that immediate family, friends, other people you see often.
And it introduces words like friend, obviously, but also best friend.
Recognizing that difference in closeness, which is important.
Then classmate, colleague.
Covering school or work.
And neighbor. People nearby.
The examples are simple again. My best friend is very funny.
I have many classmates at school.
Our neighbor is very kind.
It's interesting how these words kind of map out your social world, isn't it?
Totally. It gives learners these distinct labels for different kinds of relationships you deal with every day. A close friend, someone at work, the person next door.
It's like giving you a basic social map through language.
Exactly.
But just knowing who someone is. Well, you need more to really talk about them, so that resource adds another layer.
Adjectives. Simple, descriptive words.
Yeah, this is where you start adding a bit of personality or what they look like.
The list is pretty foundational. Tall, short, young, old.
Kind, friendly, funny, smart.
Strong, beautiful, handsome. Good basic coverage.
And it shows you how to slot these into those simple sentences we saw earlier.
Right, like, my sister is kind and smart, using to.
Or, he is tall and strong. They are funny and friendly.
And it even includes specific practice sentences for you to try.
My brother is tall. My friend is very funny. Simple stuff.
But it shows the power of combining that be verb structure with these descriptors.
Yeah. Even with just these few words, you can start to, paint a bit of a picture.
Makes it much more engaging than just saying, this is my brother. It adds that little bit of detail. Crucial step.
Okay, so we've got naming people, describing them. What's next in the guide?
It moves on to phrases about the nature of relationships or like your living situation.
Ah, right. Providing a bit more context.
Exactly. Things like, I live with my parents.
I am married.
I have a big family. Or even, we are close, describing the feeling.
These let you share more about your family setup beyond just listing names.
And it gives a little example conversation showing how you might ask about siblings.
Right, like A asks, do you have any brothers or sisters?
And B answers, yes, I have 1 brother and 2 sisters.
Then A follows up, are they older or younger?
B, they are all younger than me.
See, it shows how these simple question and answer patterns let you share quite specific personal info really efficiently.
It's structuring a basic exchange for you.
So the guide builds up these pieces, the nouns, the adjectives, these phrases, and then it puts it all together.
Yeah, there's a practice conversation at the end to illustrate how it all fits.
It kind of simulates a real chat, asking about family size.
Using that phrase, do you have a big family?
Mentioning parents' jobs, like my father's a doctor and my mother's a teacher.
Combining family words with occupation.
And describing a best friend using those adjectives. Her name is Anna. She is kind and very smart.
It really shows how you can mix and match all those elements we just talked about.
And have a simple but, meaningful conversation about people you know.
Yeah.
You can see the building blocks working together.
Yeah, it demonstrates the payoff.
And the source finishes with a quick review, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Making the key points really clear.
Yes, it explicitly says, okay, the goal was learning to name family members.
Talk about your friends.
Describe people with simple adjectives.
And use short sentences in conversations. Hits all the main points again.
And it even recaps some key vocabulary with definitions just to reinforce them.
Like father's male parent, sister is female sibling.
Friend, a person you like and trust. Kind, nice, caring, smart, intelligent. Just reinforcing those core ideas.
Okay, so that wraps up our deep dive into how this particular beginner's resource tackles talking about family and friends. It's a really structured approach.
It is. And interestingly, this source mentions its next topic is daily routines. And if you think about it, talking about the people in your life and talking about what you do every day, those are probably the two most basic ways we start sharing who we are, right?
That makes sense. People and actions.
So it makes you wonder, for you listening, what other super basic building blocks besides people and routines are just absolutely essential for starting to paint a picture of your world in a new language? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe think about how you could use even just one phrase or a couple of words we talked about today to describe someone important to you. The foundation's there.
Give it a try.
Join us next time for another deep dive.